All right. While Alex is setting up. Hey, everybody. I'm Philipp. I'm at day. I'm a chief product officer at Grab. At night, I'm a map nerd. I've been like 15 years in the OSM community now for quite a while. And I'm really, really excited to have the opportunity with all of you sharing a bunch of things that we've been up to at Grab over the last few years. So just curious here in this room, who does have any idea what Grab is doing? Okay, a few people. Who here has taken a Grab? Okay, seems like even our team hasn't taken a Grab, so we need to work on that. But anyway, for those of you who are not familiar, so Grab is the largest super app in Southeast Asia. So we started in one city in Kuala Lumpur with a simple mission to make transport safer, especially for female passengers, because one of our co-founders, Ling, she was always on an evening, when the work got late, she needed to ride home, and taking a taxi in KL wasn't super safe. So they started with a ride-hailing app in KL, and has tremendously expanded ever since. All right, here we go on the presentation as well. So basically, from that early beginnings, from making ride-hailing safer in Kuala Lumpur, we went on to become the largest super app in Southeast Asia. We're serving 8 countries now, more than 500 cities, more than 40 million monthly transacting customers on our platform. And more importantly for us, there's more than 6 million merchants and drivers earning an income on our platform, which is really, really core to our mission. But since we're all a bunch of map nerds here in this room, I think there's no better way to show this than with this visualization. So this is Singapore Central Business District. And each of these little dots is one of our drivers doing a delivery, picking up a passenger, delivering grocery, or doing any other job on our platform. So it's truly, truly tremendous scale. Our platform is serving more than 800 billion API requests every month. So it's in Southeast Asia, probably the largest scale mapping platform serving any on-demand business. And we've been big OSM fans for a long time. So our platform is built on community-centric mapping foundation. So we use OpenStreetMap at the core of our platform. In fact, about 1/3 of all edits in Southeast Asia are done by our team. So we are largely contributing also back to OSM. And the other thing that's really important is we wanted to make this an earnings opportunity for our drivers. So we call our drivers the gig mappers, and we pay them for collecting imagery data, for mapping POIs. So we've basically created a platform where you can give them incremental earning opportunities on top of their rideshare and food delivery jobs. And of course, we're processing also all the real-time data coming in our platform. We have more than 500,000 GPS pings a second, 2 terabytes of all kinds of data collected, and our traffic stream is read more than 100 million times a second, to give you a sense on the scale. And at the core, really, we've collected all this data based on imagery. For those of you who've been in Southeast Asia, what's really important to us is that we collect every single small side alley and road where no Google Street View car ever would fit in. And you can see this visualization of the imagery data we've collected, for example, in Jakarta. So we have more imagery data than anybody else in Southeast Asia. But to take a step back to the beginnings when we had to collect that, one of the big challenges was that none of the existing camera hardware would really do the job for us. So we were faced with kind of 2 choices. The one extreme choice was go with a really high-end camera that has all the features that we need, but it cost about $20,000 a unit, which, we couldn't afford. Southeast Asia is very unit conscious. We're not as rich as the US in our region. Or we could go with a more accessible option like a GoPro, but that wouldn't have the GPS quality that we need and would be really hard to operate. So what we ended up doing in typical Grab style, we built our own camera hardware. So we have actually coming from Shenzhen before, we have a small IoT hardware team that's building our own camera hardware. So what you can see here is CadaCam 2, which basically solved this problem. So it's super high resolution, 100 megapixel plus, has dual band GPS, RTK, all the fancy things you need to get super, super accurate location data. It has an Edge AI processor, so it can stitch the images, it can blur faces and license plates so that we never upload this kind of stuff. And it's very easy to operate. It's these professional mapping rigs are maybe 10 kilograms. This is just slightly more than a kilogram. It's very easy to operate by all of our gig mappers, which are not professional GIS operators. And we've made it super, super easy for our drivers to operate. Right? Like, so you can operate it with a backpack mount. We've built a motorcycle mount. We've built like a way to map with a bicycle. And we have like built a magnetic car mount. So it's always built from day one for like really, really easy operation that's affordable and like anybody can learn in minutes because we don't have like days or months to train our drivers. But what we're going to talk about today is kind of like what's the next iteration. You can see here a little bit like the iteration of different hardware that we've gone through. But we've realized that we have like one thing that's missing from our platform that we're going to launch today, which is LiDAR integration. As you know, like any high-end mapping platform maps with LiDAR. Why do you need LiDAR? Why it's so important? Well, there's a few reasons why it's really important. First of all, if you ever want to do like centimeter accurate mapping, there's no way to do it without LiDAR. So that's one. The second reason is, if you want to do proper indoor mapping, LiDAR allows you to do dead reckoning and get indoor location data where GPS doesn't work. And with LiDAR, you can basically fuse the point cloud and get accurate indoor location. And the third thing is, obviously, you can do 3D mapping that you get like the elevation and much more precise data of any sign or anything that's there. So that's basically our next iteration, which you can see live outside, which our Kandal Cam 2 with LiDAR. It's built around the same principle, super easy to operate by anybody. Again, our drivers can operate it within like minutes of setting it up. It's not super heavy, and it's much, much, much cheaper than anything else on the market. So what does it allow us to do? Well, I want to highlight 3 things that are really unique about our LiDAR mapping. So the first thing is automatic integration of LiDAR and images, because it maps both with the same platform and is not disconnected, right? Like normally if you collect LiDAR and imagery separately, it's very hard to fuse them. So here the data is already fused. The second thing, it automatically geotags images because it uses a LiDAR for location detection indoor. We'll show an example in a second. All the images are geotagged even if you don't have GPS because it infers the location from the LiDAR. And the third thing is we really believe in open platforms. So the camera runs Linux. You can just SSH into the box, download all the data that you need, even without any cloud services. So those are some of the things that we set up to design with it. But there's nothing better than show you live. So as you can see, this is here at the venue. So Pradeep and Hassan, Alex, like went around with like our units to map this. So you can see it's like super easy, right? Like if you run around a few minutes, capture the data, and what you get is basically this. You see this point cloud, and then you can already see it's colored, right? Like, so it's already using the images to fuse the color in it, and you can go through the venue quite easily. Like you see all the booth here, right? Like you can see this is like all from this venue. And the other thing that I shared earlier, which you see like all these dots which represent the images. So it has like basically geolocated images. If you want to extract anything, now you can finally do proper indoor mapping with precise location data attached to it. So that's pretty cool. And since we faced this challenge, we said like, hey, let's make it available to the community. We know that like basically normally these devices are super, super expensive. So we make them available at cost. At cost in the US, unfortunately, means including the Trump tariffs, so it's a little bit more expensive than we would like to. But basically, we said, like, whatever the cost is to us, we'll make them available for the same price at the community, which means basically our Kandal Cam 2 with the car mount is less than $2,000, and with a LiDAR and backpack for collection is less than $3,000. So it's more than 5 times cheaper than anything else you'll find available. And all the data will be like, all the data collected for the community edition will be, of course, open. And with that, I'll hand over to Alex to share a little bit more about the platform behind that.
Thank you, Philipp. So I'll talk a little bit about CardaView. CardaView is just a little bit of background. We've been collecting street imagery since 2016, accompanying the OpenStreetMap efforts, and it's all open imagery, along with Mapillary, which some of you might be familiar with. And the community collected a lot of data since then, right? Like over 400 million photos, 10 million kilometers, and 2 petabytes of data that we're storing. But today we're here to talk about the new upgrade to CardaView. So we're adding 3D to CardaView, which obviously goes really well hand in hand with the Kandal Cam 2 with LiDAR data. And I mean, you've seen a little bit before, but I just want to showcase how this looks like in general. Like, there's a map. You can zoom in, you can visualize 3D point clouds uploaded by any member of the community. What we're showing here is a mall that we collected in Jakarta, like different visualization settings. What we see here is the RGBA colorized point cloud, like almost like a digital replica. You can do things like elevation, so then you can see how the elevation of the collection and the building. And then, yeah, the street imagery as well, which is super well positioned within the building, which, like, honestly, it's a first, and we don't think there's any other way of doing this, this work. And at the end, basically this is a beta project for now, I must say, right? But we are working a lot on the extraction side of things, like extracting all the data and the indoor maps and so on. Just the vision is just go with this device, and then at the end you have all of this data extracted. So far we have the automated floor plan, as you can see here, extracted from the imagery, and the accurate path of the collection within the indoor space. And this is all available on CardaView 3D. Now, a second way of collecting this data, because I think, like, not everyone is going to buy this, this rather expensive device. There's another device with LiDAR and camera, which is like our phones. The iPhones have a LiDAR. I used an app called Polycam here, which is like a general purpose 3D scanning app. So you can see I just collected the red sculpture, the red thing downstairs. And you just basically walk around with your phone, and you can see how you kind of capture different angles with this app. And then you just export the file and upload to CardaView 3D, which is fairly straightforward. You just select the file, you find the location on the map, and then, yeah, you just publish it for the community. So this is more of a consumer-friendly way of contributing 3D data. We're experimenting with just walking around with your phone on the sidewalks, and it captures quite well. So it doesn't have to be like one location, but you can walk with it as well. And obviously, the technology will also evolve. So this is all behind an API as well. There's cardaview.org where you can go and get all of this data and visualize, but there's API obviously behind it. And you know, the data is CC by SA, it's open. The API is documented. We updated the documentation there. Please do feel free to reach out to us. We've added MCP support to the documentation for those of you who are into like playing with AI. And yeah, do reach out for any questions or support. We're quite keen to see how this will evolve, in which kind of OSM plugins will end up into, and what other use cases are there. To summarize, geotagged 3D data, crowdsourced, CC by SA license, similar to Imagery. It works with most 3D mesh and point cloud files, and it's ready for integration via the API. Now, I have, besides the 3D side of things, which is really exciting, we have a bit of a surprise as well. We have a new data set of 360 imagery that we are releasing today. You can tell maybe from this photo it's from Seattle. I think I saw a number of people from Washington State so far. Close to 400,000 images, over 1,200 miles of high quality 360 imagery. And it's already available on all the plugins and CardaVision and cardaview.org. So just as a quick demo, this is the imagery. This is what you'll see. The coverage is quite good. But in the interest of time, I want to demo like a side tool that we're working on, another beta project. It's called CardaVision. It's available at cardavision.com. And what you can do with it is like a Google search for anything in the imagery. I mean, we're used to things like, you know, traffic sign detections and things like that you can use for mapping. This is a lot more kind of general purpose. You can search for literally anything in that search box. So you can do things like, you know, pharmacy. I'm demoing here. You search for pharmacy, and then you see different photos of pharmacies. Even though there's no like pharmacy text, it kind of understands the images. But you can also do like more creative things like here I have a search for buildings with ivy in Seattle. So then you can see all the like the heat map with buildings with ivy, and then you can, you know, browse and do things with it. Another thing that we found in Seattle is you can search for crosswalks with rainbow colors. It was quite cool to see in Seattle. It's a thing. Yeah, so the idea is you can search for anything. It's like a text box you can use. I highly recommend go to cardavision.com to check it out. And yeah, I'll leave it to Philipp for one last thing and the closing remarks.
Okay. One last thing is we really love what our friends at Mapillary are doing. They're doing a really good job. They said, like, we want to really make sure that we integrate the imagery ecosystem. So now anybody uploading data to KaidaView can automatically link their Mapillary account. It automatically gets transferred to Mapillary. If you have an existing account, you can upload your existing imagery there. So hopefully going forward, it makes it a lot easier. If there's any of the tools that you like on Mapillary, you can just like upload the imagery. You can upload like all the new data with the cameras and so on, and you can just use it across the entire ecosystem. And we have our booth outside. If you want to check out the hardware, come see us after this. Thank you very much.